Wrong screen.
Come on, come in. Welcome, welcome.
There we go. All is good in the world. The intro. Who did the intro? I reached out to a studio that made an artwork of Lord of the Rings. They just had the Fellowship, or they had the Lord of the Rings in that artwork, and I just asked them to remake it to be Fellowship of the First Time Readers. And they did, and then I just animated it. Hey, relax. And the song is from Ryan, who is part of the channel, one of the OG members of this channel. You might see him pop in every once in a while. Whenever he pops in, he goes, "Hello, hello." That's it. You just got through a really difficult, emotional chapter in your life 15 minutes ago. Wow. Yeah. Drink a gin, kick back, watch. I'm glad you're able to get through. And I'm really glad that these videos actually are able to help. That really makes me happy. Just kick your feet up, grab a gin, grab a whiskey, grab whatever you want to grab some water, whatever you want, and just relax as we read the last chapter. I'm actually a little sad. I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm not like the most emotional reader, but I think I am now. I think the older that I get, the more emotional I get in this. I was thinking when I hit the last chapter of this entire book, of this whole book, I think I might cry. I think I'm going to tear up a little bit. You were away for the weekend, so spent yesterday and today catching up. Enjoy the essays and last reading, and thanks for the recommendation to listen to Tolkien Rants. And there, Tolkien Rants is. Everyone go subscribe. Good videos over there. You need some cheering because you listened to Children of Húrin. Ooh, you listened. How was it? Was it depressing and debilitating, as I've heard it is? I'm very excited for it. It's the Uthak? Who the heck is Uthak? Yeah, I think I'm gonna be emotional when I finish this book. Not this one in particular, but maybe I will. Honestly, I might. Maybe we'll shed a tear tonight. What? Shattermelon, thank you. Wow. Still at work. I will enjoy. Appreciate it. Yeah, sneak in every once in a while. Let me make a goal. See if we can get a Lord of the Rings trivia night. We'll add that to the goal. So we just need 9. Trivia night. I really want to do that. Christopher Lee did the Children of Húrin audiobook. Oh my goodness. That is phenomenal. Yeah, Aya Erendil, Elonian and Kalama. I'm going to be fluent in Quenya before the end of this. Yeah, I think he'd be a phenomenal reader. I mean, like, if I wish I could read as well as Christopher Lee does. Like, dude is the coolest man maybe who has ever lived. Also, here's the opening discussion that I want to have. What's the best Disney movie that they made? What's the best Disney movie of all time? Disney, typical Disney movies, and Pixar, which is Disney. Actually, let's just open it up. What's the best animated movie that you guys have ever seen? That's the question for the night that we'll start with. Portia, thank you for the $2. Thank you for tuning into the readings and hanging out with me while I read. Also, everyone like the stream. Let's get more people in here. There's 53 people in here. Let's get 53 likes. I think that's impossible. Maybe we can. The Emperor's New Groove is top tier. Oh, I saw the Fantastic Mr. Fox for the first time a few weeks ago. Me and Lizzie watched it. It's one of her favorites. It was great. I probably would say I like Isle of Dogs a little bit more than Fantastic Mr. Fox. But Fantastic Mr. Fox is good. Lion King is the best. Favorite animated movie is Toy Story. You're going with the classics right there. K-pop Demon Hunter. Mononoke. I don't know how to say it. You guys are saying ones that I've never even heard of. Transformers. There was an animated Transformers in 1984. Yeah, Prince of Egypt, honestly, is one of the greatest, one of the most beautiful. I would probably say that. It's one of the best. Yeah, Andy Serkis is an interesting narrator. I think he's good in some ways. I don't think he's good in others. He's not good at singing. I'm not going to hold that against him. Phenomenal actor. What's up, Wes? Where you going? Wes is out. Wes said he's out of here. Animated Transformers movie is really that good? Wow. For studio, okay, interesting. I haven't seen that much of that studio. One of my friends wants to watch it with me now, so I gotta watch it. I'm actually pretty pumped to see some of it. She said that. What was the one? There's one with fireflies. Yeah. Revenant, thank you for the gifted memberships. Congrats, Aquila. Wow, guys. Thank you for all the gifts. This is blowing my mind. No way, you finished the chapter a week ago? I actually think I just saw your comment on that. I haven't caught up on all comments yet. But I think I just saw you. Patiently waiting for me to catch up. I love that. Well, I'm going to get caught up today, and then we'll go from there. I'm pretty pumped. There's a lot of animated movies here that I don't know. Honestly, had anybody seen The Iron Giant? One of the classics animated movies of all time. Anybody know The Kubo and the Two Strings? Another great movie. Anybody know Klaus? Another great one. Nice. First time catching live? Welcome, 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 welcome. Yellow Submarine, Grave of Fireflies. That's what I was thinking. Someone said that was really good. I haven't seen that yet. I Must See Flow. It won the 2024 Oscar? Wow. Ah, nice. I love that you reread the chapter this morning. That makes me happy. I'm pretty pumped to read this right now. I'm very excited. We'll start in like 10, 15 minutes. Kubo and the Two Strings 10 years ago, it's so good though. There's so many good moments in that one. And it's all claymation. It's some of the best claymation that I've ever seen in my life. Ooh, it's raining a little bit. We need some rain. Highly recommend Kubo and the Two Strings. One of my favorites. Also, here's another question. This is the other opening question that we'll have for tonight. If you had a sort, Iron Giant is one of the greatest. Oh, it's one of my favorites. All right, if you had to sort every member of the Fellowship into a house in Hufflepuff, in either the four houses of Hogwarts, what would they all be sorted into? Or just to any of your favorite characters. How would you sort the characters of Lord of the Rings? Me and Lizzie might make a whole video on this because she was interested in doing this, and I'm kind of interested in doing that. I feel like it'd be kind of fun. But I'll probably say, I think Faramir, Faramir is not part of the Fellowship, but I have him so firmly embedded in Hufflepuff, it's not even funny. To me, Faramir is like the ultimate Hufflepuff. But someone was saying Ravenclaw, which I kind of get because he's like a scroll boy. Oh my gosh. Thank you again for the gifts, guys. Don't know anything about Harry Potter. I wish there was we need like sorting for Lord of the Rings, the Lord of the Rings world. Also, guys, I really appreciate the gifts. You guys are very kind and encouraging. It's so fun making these videos. I hope they keep getting out to people, and I hope it keeps helping. Frodo is a Ravenclaw. Frodo's a Ravenclaw? I don't know. I think Frodo is a very, very typical Gryffindor. I would say Frodo's a Gryffindor. I think Bilbo's a Ravenclaw. Yeah, Bilbo is definitely a Ravenclaw. I've not heard of Wolfwalkers, actually. Boromir's a Slytherin? Yeah, I think Boromir is kind of like in his pride. He kind of wants a little bit of pride there. I'd probably say that. I don't know. It's kind of fun trying to figure out the sorting. Oh, here we go. Legolas, Merry is Ravenclaw. Legolas is actually a kind of a tough one. Maybe I would say probably Legolas is a Ravenclaw. Maybe. Yeah, right. That kind of feels it. Bilbo, Ravenclaw, Frodo, Gryffindor. Gandalf would be a Slytherin. I don't know. I don't know much about the lore or the backstory. Sam is in Hufflepuff. Agreed, because of his loyalty. Honestly, I would even put Merry and Pippin in Hufflepuff. They're probably more in Gryffindor because they're richer, and all the rich kids probably. Actually, no. Some of the rich kids did go to Hufflepuff. What was his name? Justin Finch Fletchley. He's a rich kid who was going to go to Eton or something like that. Smaug is Hufflepuff, Huff and Puff. Oh, I like that one. And we were also talking about this one question. Who is the greatest villain in any movie or any book that you guys have ever read? We were talking about Saruman before, and Saruman is honestly one of the best. I think Saruman is the real scary figure, honestly. And I would say Shelob to me feels like a Dolores Umbridge. She's not the main villain, but she's probably the more terrifying villain in the entire story. The Witch King is pretty terrifying. Griffith from Berserk. Interesting. Hans Gruber. Who's Hans Gruber? Palpatine? I mean, the most iconic is Darth Vader. I think they did like a series on that. Glaurung? I heard Glaurung. Is Glaurung the big... Oh, Hans Gruber from Die Hard. Okay. There's a lot more about the Witch King. Good. I'm curious. Glaurung is the worst villain. I've heard he's like... isn't Glaurung like a dragon the size of like a mountain? I think I have an image. I don't know why, but I remember seeing an image of that. Don't give me any spoilers, actually. Anyone who's an unreliable narrator. Everyone in Game of Thrones, yeah, pretty much. I was thinking, I think one of the best villains I've ever seen, I was talking about this in the previous members chat, was Anton Chigurh in No Country for Old Men. Davy Jones was a great one. I just watched a clip of I forgot which pirate movie it was, but when the other guy comes back, what's his name? He walks down the stairs, Joffrey Rush. What was his name in that? Captain Barbossa, when he walks down. That was like a mic drop moment. I remember seeing that in high school. That was like so good. Anton Chigurh in the books is even better. Interesting. Man, there are a lot of detestable villains, though. There's some good ones. Euron Greyjoy. Interesting. Huh. I'm very curious to read the books. Apollo Creed? What? You're crazy. Come on. Hannibal Lecter, yeah, that is a classic. Honestly, Mr. Collins from Pride and Prejudice probably takes that too. Mr. Collins from Pride and Prejudice is pretty atrocious. Can't stand him. Forrest Whitaker as anything. Forrest Whitaker is so great. Oh my gosh. I actually have never seen The Last King of Scotland. I've heard it's great. I feel like it'd be right up my alley. Mr. Collins is Cream of Wormtongue. The dude in Deliverance. I've never even seen that. I like that. Apollo Creed was thrown out there. Lady Catherine de Bourgh. Have you guys seen the BBC version of Pride and Prejudice? Whoever plays Mr. Collins is so phenomenal. What's his name? Mr. Collins, BBC. Me and my friends watched this like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and we would quote this all the time to each other. David Bamber. He's so funny. But he has one line. Oh, I'm going to butcher this one line. I think he goes like, she's hot on her heels or something like that, and he's running. We used to quote that all the time. It's been so long since I've seen that. Yeah, BBC was so good. Jennifer L was my favorite Elizabeth. I threw a post on I think this is my most popular ever Reddit post. I threw a post on like the r/Pride and Prejudice or something like that. And I said, I don't think anybody's ever really done an Elizabeth well. And I said, like, my issue is everyone loves Keira Knightley, and I think she was a terrible Elizabeth. And I like Jennifer L better, but I don't think she was a great Elizabeth. I think she had some issues. But I like Jennifer L a whole lot more than I like Keira Knightley. You'll die in the hill of Keira Knightley? Ugh. Jennifer L read Pride and Prejudice on YouTube? Are you kidding me? Why do I not know about this stuff? Gosh. No, Keira Knightley is too pouty. Elizabeth doesn't pout. She doesn't have pouty lips every time she speaks. All right, I promise we're going to read Lord of the Rings. I promise we're going to read Lord of the Rings. We have the choices of Master Samwise. Matthew McFadden over Colin Firth. I don't think that's like a crazy... I don't think that's crazy controversial. I would actually say some people do. Colin Firth was good, but... Ely? Is it really Ely? I always say Jennifer L. Oh, well. I don't know how to pronounce last names. Colin Firth for days. Colin Firth is a stud. All right, everyone. We're going to start at 6:20 my time, so another 3 minutes. So go get some tea if you need to get some tea. Get some stronger. Get a little gin. Get a little whiskey. Get a little wine if you want. Grab a snack. Grab your books. Kick up your feet. One of these days I'll read Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility live or something. But that is not this day. Chapter 10. Yeah, I'm pumped. I love doing these live reads. These are like the highlight of my life. Ginger tea. That sounds good. I got a little lemon tea right here. I'm not a coffee drinker. I like tea. Persuasion. I've heard Persuasion is good. I've never read Jane Eyre, and I've heard that's like the best one. I think Jane Eyre would just putting the wife to bed. Nice. Throw those headphones on. We'll be good. The Choices of Master Samwise. Not going to read quite yet. We have another 2 minutes before we start. Northanger Abbey. Yeah, it's a different. That's not. Yeah, I mean, I know it's different, but I've heard that one's the best. That one's like just the best. Someone once told me that I would like that one the best. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't know if you've ever hated two protagonists as much? Interesting. Top 5 books of all time? Emma's good. I've heard that. I haven't read too much. I think Pride and Prejudice is the only like one that I've read of that group. Honestly, I think I would love that. We really got to start doing book clubs. I would love to do a book club of Jane Eyre. I don't want to do a book club of Lord of the Rings quite yet because there's so much lore attached to it. But like some of these other ones, I would love to do book clubs of that kind of stuff. I read The Count of Monte Cristo, one of my favorites, but also one of my most unsatisfying books that I've ever read in my life. Because I watched the movie first, and I thought it was all about revenge. And I was so ticked off when I was a college kid reading that because it wasn't about revenge and it was about justice. And he doesn't get everything back, and he doesn't get revenge, although he kind of does get revenge. Still, one of the best books I've ever read. It was great. I liked Anna Karenina a little bit more. Anna Karenina was one that I enjoyed slightly more than The Count of Monte Cristo. I love that book so much. I liked Russians. I think Russians, weirdly, I actually like French authors more than I like Russian authors, but I did like Anna Karenina more than I did like The Count of Monte Cristo. Anywho. All right, let's get to reading. We got a minute. Perfect time for some Count of Monte Cristo talk. Is that your favorite? Factor Fantasy. Everyone go subscribe. Factor Fantasy channel. It's another great one. If you want me to shout your guys' channels out. Anna Karenina's in your top 5. Michael, why am I just naming all your top 5 favorite books of all time? What is this? I love this. Bulgakov? I've never even heard of Bulgakov. Wait. What did Bulgakov write? Bulgakov. What a fun name. You know, I've never read any Dostoevsky either, which is wild because most of the people that I know say he's the best writer of all time. The Master and Margarita. What a cool name. I know. Foundation is on my list because I want to do a read through that, and I want to make a bunch of videos on that, like as a first time read through. I kind of think it's fun that I haven't read some of these like more classic popular literature. I went through a phase where I read a few, but then I just got into all the modern literature. And then I got into a memoir phase for a few years. Then was in, children's literature for a few years. Foundation is great. Okay, Foundation or Dune? That's the question I have. Foundation or Dune? What should I read first? Bulgakov would definitely be a beater on Bulgaria's Quidditch team. 100%. Foundation over Dune? Okay. I definitely want to read Dune too and talk about that. I know that Dune and Lord of the Rings contrast a lot. Wow, a lot of votes for Foundation. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Foundation, the Stormlight Archive. Honestly, it's a great list. That's like all you need. I feel like a lot of people who read Lord of the Rings wouldn't like Dune so much, but I'd be really curious. I feel like it's an interesting critique of it would be an interesting critique of Messiah figures, I guess. I guess that guy was a bit more cynical. I'd be interested to read it. I'm definitely going to try Lewis's Space Trilogy. Definitely going to try Foundation. It's written in a very specific style. So if I haven't gotten into much sci-fi, is Foundation something good to start, or should I like whet my sci-fi appetite with Lewis's space trilogy? Like, what's a good start into sci-fi? Wow, you don't like Steinbeck? Now, with Dune, how far were you guys able to get? Sorry, we were supposed to start, but this is really interesting because I want to just figure this out. Dune is too weird, I've heard, but I've heard Dune is good I've heard one person say you should read half of the first book, another person say you should read the whole first book, another person say you should quit after the first 3, and another person said after the first 6. Yeah, he did dislike Dune with some intensity. I'm not the biggest Steinbeck fan, but I respect his reading. Star Wars copied a lot from. What do you guys think of the Foundation series that's going on right now? It actually looks really interesting. That's part of the reason why I want to watch it. Dune, read the first book, then stop. Okay. Science fantasy. You loathe Dune. Interesting. I'll read the first 2. I definitely am going to read it eventually. Maybe like everyone who hates it can read along with me, and then we'll like sit and critique it. I'll make a bunch of videos just critiquing Dune, and we'll go from there. Went back to King Aragorn. Yeah. You got to go back to Aragorn sometimes. Lizzie's, one of my buddies is reading Lord of the Rings, or Dune. I don't know if she's actually still reading it. I think she's made a stop because she was reading it with someone. I don't know if that person kept reading. The Philip Pullman series, Don't Hate Dune. Interesting. Okay, I'm glad that someone doesn't hate Dune. So I'm still coming up with a list. Definitely gonna read Foundation. Game of Thrones is on there pretty quick. The Space Trilogy is on there pretty quick. But we still have lots of Tolkien to get through. So when I get to the Hobbit, I'm gonna start mixing in potentially Game of Thrones. Dune feels really Game of Thronesy. Interesting. But I might start with some Foundation too. That one's been moving a lot higher on my list very quickly. Dude, I would love to have you chime into Foundation. That'd be so fun. You should do some Foundation on your book. That would be actually so interesting because they have the series that's out now. You should do a little contrast between the book and the series. That would be great. Yeah, I'm gonna actually hit you up because I had a few questions. Gibby, I'll talk to you. I'll email you or something. Ringworld. How about Discworld? Yeah. Okay, someone literally. I was just thinking about Discworld, and then interesting. You couldn't do that. That would suck. Yeah, that's like the fun thing, is I feel like when I read some of this stuff, you guys can just jump in and read some of it with me, even if you hate it. I've heard Discworld is amazing. Really have wanted to get into it, but haven't gotten into it yet. I have too long of a list. And then the sucky thing is, well, not the sucky thing. I love this, but I have to write essays on everything that I write because I have to writtenly process through all this. So I got to figure that kind of stuff out. So it just takes me longer to get through books, which is great because I love going through books slow. But it's just will take time. Don't worry, you're not late. I am just yapping. We're just yapping about books right now. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know anything about Discworld. And I've heard the other day that N.K. Jemisin is one of like the tops of all times. I watched a video that was like the 7 layers of fantasy that some guy was doing on YouTube. And he put N.K. Jemisin as one of his, he put him as the 7th layer, like one of the best. He put him along with Tolkien. But I'm definitely going to keep doing Brandon Sanderson's work. We got a bunch of stuff that we're going to do. Fantasy satire. I've heard Pratchett is just really funny. Discworld is a lot of things. Been meaning to read her books. All right. Keep chatting about these books. I'll catch up to this chat later too, but I am going to we're going to start reading. We're 6 minutes late. The Choices of Master Samwise, because I'm dying to read this book. I'm dying to read this right now. You're almost through Stormlight Archive. Love that. He's done with his 5th book in that, right? And then he's taking a break, and then he's gonna write 5 more. That dude writes more than. Gosh, it's nuts. Also, this isn't that crazy surprising, but I have written more words about Tolkien's book about the Lord of the Rings than there are words in Lord of the Rings. Which isn't that surprising, to be honest, because I've been like writing like 5 essays a chapter, and if it's like 1,500 to like 4,000 words each one, then of course I'm gonna write more. But I was looking at that the other day, and I'm like, dang, that's actually a lot. So, all right, I don't know if I've become a Tolkien scholar, but I've got thoughts. Yeah, everyone, okay, go subscribe to Myth Mavens too. If you're a Sanderson nerd, that I know a lot of you are, Myth Mavens is great. I've been really enjoying. They're like a podcast form where one of the guys is reading it for the first time, and they're both like very good with just like knowing their lore. They're very good with like world building lore. So fantastic podcast / like video podcast. Go check them out on YouTube. All right, we're gonna start reading. This is the choices of Master Samwise, what you're all here for, what I'm here for. I am so excited to read this. I can't wait. So we're going to read. Ooh, we just finished Way of Kings. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. All right, here we go. Everyone, go get your drinks, kick up your feet, open up your books. Let's do this. All right, here we go. I gotta clear my throat. Hold on one second. I'm gonna mute myself so I can clear my throat because no one wants to hear that. All right, we're back. Here we go. Chapter 10. The Choices of Master Samwise. Frodo was lying face upward on the ground, and the monster was bending over him, so intent upon her victim that she took no heed of Sam and his cries until he was close at hand. As he rushed up, he saw that Frodo was already bound in cords, wound about him from ankle to shoulder. And the monster, with her great forelegs, was beginning half to lift, half to drag his body away. Okay, so I'm just going to say this. We still don't know if Shelob is a spider. She weaves webs of darkness, but does she weave webs out of her spinner thing? She could just have like a bunch of cords just readily available, and she just ties Frodo up. I still don't know what the heck Shelob is. I think I got an essay coming about that tomorrow, because she is one of the weirdest beings in Middle-earth. Probably one of the scariest too, I gotta say. Really weird. On the near side of him lay, gleaming on the ground, his elven blade, where it had fallen, useless from his grasp. Sam did not wait to wonder what was to be done, or whether he was brave or loyal or filled with rage. I love that. He sprang forward with a yell and seized his master's sword in his left hand. So he's just jumping straight into the battle. I like this line. He did not wait to wonder what was to be done, or whether he was brave or loyal or filled with rage. He sprang forward with a yell and seized his master's sword in his left hand. Then he charged. Dang. Okay. No onslaught more fierce was ever seen in the savage world of beasts, whereas some desperate small creature, armed with little teeth alone, will spring upon a tower of horn and hide that stands above its fallen mate. Wait, no onslaught more fierce was ever seen in the savage world of beasts? Is this talking about hold on, is this talking about Sam, or is this talking about the onslaught that Shelob is doing for Frodo? It has to be talking about Sam. No onslaught was more fierce than ever seen in the savage world of beasts, where some desperate small creature armed with little teeth alone will spring upon a tower of horn and hide that stands above its fallen mate. That's a crazy description. Creature of horn and hide. I love that. Good for Sam. I kind of love that. Wow, what a great descriptions. Disturbed as if out of some gloating dream by small yell, she turned slowly the dreadful malice of her glance upon him. But almost before she was aware that a fury was upon her, greater than any she had known in countless years, the shining sword bit upon her foot and shore away the claw. Sam sprang inside the arches of her legs, and with a quick thrust of his other hand stabbed at the clustered eyes upon her lower head. One great eye went dark. Now the miserable creature was right under her. This is so good. I read this and I go, now the miserable creature. So I'm thinking this is from Sam's perspective. This is from Shelob's perspective. This is so good. The miserable creature being Sam Gamgee. Now the miserable creature was right under her. For the moment out of reach of her sting and her claws. Her vast belly was above him, with its putrid light, and the stench of it almost smote him down. Wait, time out, hold on. With its putrid light? Her vast belly was above him, with its putrid light? What is he talking about here? What is this putrid light? Because this isn't, this is confusing. This isn't Shelob's perspective anymore. Her vast belly was above him. Her belly glows? I missed that. I thought it was the file, but it's not. Shelob has a glowing belly. I kind of remember that, actually. Yeah, is Shelob like one of those glow-in-the-dark monsters that you like stick on your wall? Huh. Shelob's belly grows pale green. Okay, interesting. So her belly's glow in the dark. Interesting. The stench of it almost smote him down. That's brutal. Still his fury held for one more blow. And before she could sink upon him, smothering him in all his little impudence of courage, he slashed the bright elven blade across with desperate strength. But Shelob was not as dangerous, or Shelob was not as dragons are. No, softer spot had she save only her eyes. Wait. But Shelob was not as dragons are. No softer spot had she, save only her eyes. Knobbed and pitted with corruption was her age-old hide, but ever thickened from within with layer on layer of evil growth. The blade scored it with a dreadful gash, but those hideous folds could not be pierced by any strength of men, not though elf or dwarf should forge the steel, or the hand of Baron or of Turin wield it. She yielded to the stroke, and then heaved up the great bag of her belly high above Sam's head. Poison frothed and bubbled from the wound. Now splaying her legs, she drove her huge bulk down on him again. Too soon, for Sam still stood upon his feet, and dropping his own sword with both hands, he held the elven blade pointed upward, fending off that ghastly roof. And so Shelob, with the driving force of her own cruel will, with greater strength than any warrior's hand, thrust herself upon a bitter spike. Deep, deep it pricked, as Sam was crushed slowly to the ground. This is crazy. So she's literally just like body slamming herself into Sam, and Sam is just holding the sword as tight as he can while she's essentially demolishing herself. And her little belly is full of poison. That's gross. That's really gross. Okay. My dog's decided to eat right now. No such anguish had Shelob ever known, or dreamed of knowing, in all her long world of wickedness. Not the doughtiest soldier of old Gondor, nor the savage orc entrapped, had ever thus endured her, or set blade to her beloved flesh. Samwise Gamgee, are you kidding me? These are great descriptions of Sam. Had ever thrust or endured her blade to her beloved flesh. A shudder went through her. Heaving up again, wrenching away from the pain, she bent her writhing limbs beneath her and sprang backwards in a convulsive leap. Sam had fallen to his knees by Frodo's head, his senses reeling in the foul stench, his two hands still gripping the hilt of the sword. Through the mist before his eyes, he was aware dimly of Frodo's face, and stubbornly he fought to master himself and to drag himself out of the swoon that was upon him. Slowly he raised his head and saw her, only a few paces away, eyeing him. Her beak traveling a spittle of venom, and a green ooze trickling from below her wounded eye. There she crouched, her shuddering belly splayed upon the ground, the great boughs of her legs quivering as she gathered herself for another spring, this time to crush and sting to death. No little bite of poison to still the struggling of her meat. This time to slay and then to rend. Gosh, this is dark. This is so like mythic and epic in quality. Like the scale of this is just like Sam. This feels like so in the film when Gandalf is battling the Balrog on in the highest peak of the lowest dungeon or whatever it says. This is what this feels like right here. Except it's a little hobbit and like maybe one of the scariest things in all of Middle-earth. And the hobbit is winning. And Shelob is terrified of this hobbit. Yeah, like Beowulf fighting the dragon. I was trying to think of that before. This is crazy. Even as Sam himself crouched, looking at her, seeing death in her eyes, a thought came to him. As if some remote voice had spoken. There's that remote voice again. I keep saying this. I'm curious if this is going to be like the voice of Galadriel or something. Had spoken. And then he fumbled in his breath with his left hand. And so this voice is telling him about the file again. And found what he sought, cold and hard and solid it seemed to his touch, in a phantom world of horror. The file of Galadriel. Galadriel, he said faintly. And then he heard voices far off but clear. The crying of the elves as they walked under the stars in the beloved shadows of the Shire. And the music of the elves as it came through his sleep in the hall of fire in the house of Elrond. Gilthanel a Elbereth. And then his tongue was loosed, and his voice cried in language which he did not know. This is wild to me because this is the same thing that happened in the previous chapter, but it's like so interesting why this is happening. It's like the file is giving them this ability to like speak in a tongue that they don't know. Ah, Elbereth Gilthanel. Menopolendiriel. Lay Nalan CD. Ooh, that's a tough one. Dinigurthos. Dignaruthos. Tironin fanuilos. Am I able to get a translation of this? Anybody want to translate this one for me? Am I able to? Gilthoniel? Gilthoniel. Yeah, this is elf magic. Yeah, this is tough pronunciation. Sam turns Pentecostal. He's speaking in tongues in order to try to defeat the forces of Shelob and the dark demon spider. Do we have a translation of this? What does this actually mean? Silmarillion is full of these difficult words. That's all right. I gotta make a fool out of myself. Oh, Elbereth Starkindler. Elbereth is the goddess of light. Elves revere her above all for making the stars. Interesting. Oh, death, look toward me, ever white. Oh, Elbereth Starkindler, from heavens gazing afar. To thee I cry now in the shadow of death. Oh, look toward me, ever white. Is that the actual translation? Because that is epic in quality. That is actually insane. Oh my gosh. So he's saying, oh, Elbereth Starkindler, from heaven gazing afar. To thee I cry. And he doesn't even know what he's saying. To thee I cry now in the shadow of, or the fear of death. Oh, look toward me, ever white. So now I'm curious what's going to actually happen. Yeah, like a little, he's like throwing up a little Hail Mary in both ways. He thinks he might, maybe, does he think he's going to die? Maybe to some extent he thinks he's going to die. This is so interesting. Out of the depths. This is some kind of prayer. Yeah, for sure. Maybe when I learn how to pronounce this correctly, this will be the sign off for all the videos going forth. I kind of like the Numenorian one, but we could do something like this. This would actually be kind of sweet as a video sign off if I learned how to pronounce this. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, there was that whole song that they sang in Lothlorien or in Rivendell. I forgot which one it was. That was all in this Quenya, in this language. Let's keep reading. Also, like the stream, everyone. Get this out to more Tolkien people. You should revisit Gildor's song. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I can't wait to reread. My second read is going to be fun. Getting all sorts of new lore. It's going to be great. All right. Here we go. And with that, he staggered to his feet and was Samwise the Hobbit, Hamfast's son again. This makes it seem like he was possessed. Like, this is why in the previous chapter I was talking about this being like Frodo almost seems like, or Galadriel almost seems like she's at her mirror possessing these beings right now. Possessing Frodo in the previous chapter. Because Frodo having that courage is incredible when he's able to walk towards Shelob. But is it Galadriel working through him? Yeah, more like inspired. I don't think it's, yeah, I think that's like the better word for it. It's definitely not possession in any way. Like it's like a healthy version of that, which I guess is she's inspiring them. But it does seem like she's almost using them as an avatar to some extent. That's at least what I'm getting a little bit. But I like this. And with that, he staggered to his feet and was Samwise the Hobbit, Hamfast's son again. Now come, you filth, he cried. You've hurt my master, you brute, and you'll pay for it. We're going on, but we'll settle with you first. Come on and taste it again. What? These are some fighting words. As if his indomitable spirit had set its potency in motion, the glass blazed suddenly, like a white torch in his hand. It flamed like a star that, leaping from the firmament, sears the dark airs with intolerable light. No such terror out of heaven had ever burned in Shelob's face before. The beams of it entered into her wounded head and scored it with unbearable pain. And the dreadful infection of light spread from eye to eye. She fell back, beating the air with her forlorn legs, or with her forelegs, her sight blasted by inner lightning. In her mind in agony, then turning her maimed head away, she rolled aside and began to crawl, claw by claw, toward the opening in the dark cliff behind. Oh my goodness! Hi, Wes. You want to play? Hold on, I gotta play fetch with my dog real quick. I didn't throw my dog. That was my dog's toy, by the way. I just got that. It looks like a big one. He just has a big toy that he plays with. Imagine if I just threw my dog over there. I don't think I could do that. It's too big. This is crazy. I like this. Okay, so I feel like this is almost one of the reasons why Tolkien even put this prior thing in, where like it feels like some kind of possession to some way, or some kind of like heavy inspiration. Because what I feel like in this moment is we have this moment of inspiration where Sam is like having an out-of-body experience, and then all of a sudden he comes back into his in-body experience, and then he says, "Now come, you filth." So he's holding the phial of Galadriel, and he says, "Now come, you filth," he cried. "You've hurt my master, you brute, and you'll pay for it. You're going on, but we'll settle with you first. Come on and taste it." And then because of his response there, and because of his confidence, now the light that is in his hand is able to burn this bright. As if his indomitable spirit had set its potency in motion, the glass blazed suddenly like a white torch in his hand. It flamed like a star that, leaping from the firmament, sears the dark air with intolerable light. My dog is very playful right now. Hey, what? Wes, will you give me like an hour to read this, okay? And then I'll play with you. I know. Ready? Everyone, this is his toy. He's gonna just try to jump up and get it. Come here. Come here. You gotta get it. You gotta get it. Oh, you're just being a bum over there. This is actually crazy. This is a good back and forth. I really like this. Juan? I heard there's a Juan in this. Is that Baron and Luthien's pet dog? Whatever it is. Ooh, we got a lot in this chapter. I'm excited. We got a lot more pages. Sorry, I'm going too slow. Sam's bravery, probably an essay. Dang. Yeah, I'll read and find out. So okay, when I get to the Silmarillion, the effect of this light will make more sense, especially its effect on Shelob. Okay. Huh. Yeah, that's very true. It should be like that for Smeagol too. Yeah, we'll block some people if they spoil any fun. I mean, we're still getting there. And I want you guys to know too, because this is very, very clear. You guys can say some stuff, and like this is why it's weird in my mind. Even if I read spoilers, sometimes like I'll read like a YouTube comment, and it'll be like maybe like a little spoiler or something like that, but it will literally not sink into my head until I read it on the text in front of me and we have a discussion about it. Like, weirdly, I'm like spoiler resistant to that because I still don't know like some of the lore of it. I feel like Tolkien's lore is a bit like deeper, so I don't like some of these names. They just go in one ear, not the other, until I actually like sit on it and read it for myself and like My dog just pulled his bed on top of my bed and has his head perched on his bed while he's sleeping on my bed, just looking at me from afar. What's up, Wes? Dang. Crazy section here. But yeah, I have a goldfish's memory. Like, even if I ever like read a comment that's like slightly spoilery, I mean, you guys can like delete them if you see them, but most of the time it just goes straight over my head. Tolkien muses on Christ's harrowing of hell 3 times, each time with the prophet, priest, and king, Gandalf the Balrog, Frodo with Shelob, and Aragorn in the Paths of the Dead. Interesting. I'm curious how that's going to play out, the Paths of the Dead section. That's going to be interesting. All right, let's keep reading. Sam came on. He was reeling like a drunk man. But he came on. And Shelob cowed at last, shrunken in defeat. She's never been defeated before, and now she's defeated by a hobbit of the Shire named Samwise the Brave, son of Hamfast. Shrunken in defeat, jerked and quivered as she tried to hasten from him. Oh, I love that. She's trying anything that she can to get away from this little cretin. She reached the hole and, squeezing down, leaving a trail of yellow-green slime, she slipped in, even as Sam hewed a last stroke at her dragging legs. Then he fell to the ground. That's crazy. Sam is actually going after her. Okay, you know how I said that before? I think that Shelob is the scariest thing in Middle-earth. I think the scariest thing in Middle-earth is Sam Gamgee. This is terrifying. Imagine if you're Shelob and all of a sudden you get defeated by this little hobbit thing, and then not only do you get defeated, but this thing is coming after you, trying to fight you second round. What? You're crazy tonight. Buddy, you went on 2 walks. How are you not exhausted? I love it. Yeah, his passion is like the fuel that's like helping him fight this battle. I love this. This is so fantastic. Yeah, hell hath no fury like Samwise Gamgee when you've hurt his master, and when Smeagol betrayed them. Wow. I'm curious what the rest of the chapter is going to be. I thought the whole chapter was going to be like a battle. We have like 10 pages left. My dog is so restless right now. He's just trying to play. Here we go. Shelob was gone. And whether she lay long in her lair, nursing her malice and her misery, and in slow years of darkness healed herself from within, rebuilding her clustered eyes until, with hunger like death, she spun once more her dreadful snares in the glens of the mountains of shadows, this tale does not tell. Oh my gosh. Sam was left alone. Wearily, as the evening of the nameless land fell upon the place of battle, he crawled back to his master. "Master, dear master," he said. But Frodo did not speak. As he had run forward, eager, rejoicing to be free, Shelob with hideous speed had come behind and with one swift stroke had stung him in the neck. He lay now pale. He heard no voice and did not move. This is crazy. "Master, dear master," said Sam, and through a long silence waited, listening in vain. Then, as quickly as he could, he cut away the binding cords and laid his head upon Frodo's breast, and to his mouth but no stir of life could he find, nor feel the faintest flutter of the heart. Often he chafed his master's hands and feet, and touched his brow, but all were cold. "Frodo, Mr. Frodo," he called, "don't leave me here alone. It's your Sam calling. Don't go where I can't follow. Wake up, Mr. Frodo. Oh, wake up, Frodo. Me dear, me dear. Wake up." Then anger surged over him, and he ran about his master's body in a rage, stabbing the air and smiting the stones and shouting challenges. Presently he came back, and bending looked at Frodo's face, pale beneath him in the dusk. And suddenly he saw that he was suddenly he saw that he was in the picture that was revealed to him in the mirror of Galadriel and Lorien. Frodo with a pale face, lying fast asleep under a great dark cliff. Or fast asleep, he had thought then. "He's dead," he said. "Not asleep, dead." And as he said it, as if the words had set the venom to work again, it seemed to him that the hue of the face grew livid green. And then black despair came down on him, and Sam bowed to the ground and drew his gray hood over his head. And night came into his heart, and he knew no more. Oh, what? If you are reading this for the first time, how do you not think that Frodo is dead here? This is crazy writing. You thought he was dead? You know what this kind of reminds me of too? We're talking about Harry Potter a little bit before, but it reminds me when a certain character in HP, nobody give any spoilers because someone in the chat hasn't read it before. When a certain character dies, how another character destroys an entire room of another character. I'm being very generic. But that's like this. Sam, I like this description. Like, I feel like people who write like this are people who have experienced death before and know sometimes like the rage that's piled up in it. Then anger surged over him, and he ran about his master's body in a rage. And he's angry at so many different things here too. He's probably angry at himself. He's angry at Gollum, wants to kill Smeagol. Like, anybody here, I'm not even joking. If Sauron was here in this moment right now, I think Sam could defeat Sauron. Ooh, begins and there's bookends of death. Like, this is the thing. We have like 10 pages left. So I have a weird feeling. Not a weird feeling. I feel like he's going to know that Frodo's alive before the end. Has to, right? Like, we can't have just 10 pages of just dialogue about like Sam thinking that he's dead. So we have to get a fact that he's going to be alive still. But just to sit in that for a moment is brutal. Remember when he sees the blank in the blank? Man. Yeah, because Frodo's a hobbit, he actually can't come back from this. This is so sad. Yeah, imagine reading this for the first time and getting to this section, and it's at the end of this book, and you're like, oh my gosh, Sam's going to have to take the ring, and he's going to have to carry this ring the rest of the way. Gosh. When at last the blackness passed, and this is interesting too, like, this is a really interesting paragraph. I want to think about this more. And then black despair came down on him. And Sam bowed to the ground and drew his gray hood over his head. And night came into his heart. So simple, but so true. If anybody's experienced something like that, you know it's like night comes into your heart. But this is an interesting sentence. And he knew no more. He has no more memory of what's going to happen. And this is interesting too, if you think about it, like, because essentially what's happening right now for this book is Sam is essentially recanting or recalling what he's experienced in this moment. And so when he's telling, I'm curious, actually, this is interesting now too. I don't think this would be the case, but is there any possibility that like Sam did something like terrible, even worse? Like, did he destroy the entire place? Did he go back in and look for Shelob and he just doesn't want to talk about it because of how angry he was? So he doesn't give Frodo the information on this? But I like that sentence, and he knew no more. Like, whatever he does after this, it's not even in his memory because his rage and his sadness is so great that he can't even remember what was going on. Ooh, I can never read the last pages of these stories. I have to like carry it. Yeah, that is a cardinal sin. Come on, you can't do that. You can't know how the story's going to end before it gets there. That's crazy, actually. Yeah, knew no more, like blacking out. That's kind of what I imagine too. Like he's like blacking out, but at the same time, I feel like it's like a blacking out, but not like he's not like getting knocked unconscious. You know, it's not like falling asleep. Like his mind just literally is like turning off because it's in such like fight or flight. Yeah, I think it is like swoon, but I think it's like a little, to me, it's more like, because I think all of us have moments like that to some extent where like something terrible happens and you remember everything clearly, and then all of a sudden like you're thrust into something and you have no memory of what goes on in that spot, but there's like evil that happened there. All right, let's keep reading. It says, when at last the blackness passed, Sam looked up and shadows were about him. But for how many minutes or hours the world had gone dragging on, he could not tell. He was still in the same place, and his master lay beside him dead. Oh, the mountains had not crumbled, nor the earth fallen into ruin. I love that. Sam's almost expecting these things to happen, because when someone that you love like that dies, that's what you expect. You don't expect the world to keep going, but unfortunately it does. That's a great sentence. Wow, that is a really great sentence. What shall I do? What shall I do? He said. Did I come all this way with him for nothing? And then he remembered his own voice speaking words that at the time he did not understand himself at the beginning of their journey. I have something to do before the end. I must see it through, sir, if you understand. But what can I do? Not leave Mr. Frodo dead, unburied on the top of the mountain and go home, or go on. Go on? He repeated. And for a moment, doubt and fear shook him. Go on. Is that what I've got to do? And leave him? Oh, then at last he began to weep. And going to Frodo, he composed his body and folded his cold hands upon his breast, and wrapped his cloak about him. And he laid his own sword at one side, and the staff of Faramir, and the staff that Faramir had given at the other. If I'm to go on, he said, then I must take your sword by your leave, Mr. Frodo. But I'll put this one to lie by you, as it lay by the old kings in the barrow. And you've got your beautiful mithril coat from old Mr. Bilbo, and your star glass, Mr. Frodo. You did lend it to me, and I'll need it, for I'll always be in the dark now. It's too good for me. And the lady gave it to you, but maybe she'd understand. Do you understand, Mr. Frodo? I've got to go on. Oh, this is gutting. Oh my gosh. This is crushing, guys. Ugh. Ugh. This is awful. I feel so bad for Sam here. And the word choices here are so good and interesting too. Like he says, because it's like both literal and not. When he's talking about the star glass, and your star glass, Mr. Frodo. Did you lend it to me? Or you did lend it to me and I'll need it. For I'll always be in the dark now. And, you know, like he means like he's going into Mordor where it's literally going to be dark all the time. But I think now Sam thinks in his own heart it is always going to be dark. There's never going to be any room for light there, which is kind of true. When someone that you love dies, they always take a piece of you with them. And there can always obviously like, you know, be joy and good things that happen the rest of the time in your life. But there is like some kind of darkness that seems to follow you. Oh. This is crushing. Tolkien is too good of a writer. Oh my gosh. Ugh. My eyes hurt right now. Yeah, and I'll be in the dark. He doesn't really know what to do with Frodo or without Frodo. Like Frodo was essentially like the one who was making the plans. And now Sam's like, I don't know what the heck I have to do now. But I still think that Sam would be able to take on every single orc in Mordor at the same time right now. Because he's just that OP. Oh, that's gutting. I want to reread that paragraph. Then at last he began to weep. And going to Frodo, he composed his body. I like that. And folded his cold hands upon his breast. And wrapped his cloak about him, and he lay his own sword at one side, and the staff that Faramir had given at the other. If I'm to go on, he said, then I must take your sword. By your leave, Mr. Frodo. But I'll put this one to lie by you, as it lay by the old king in the barrow. And you've got your beautiful mithril coat from old Mr. Bilbo, and your star glass, Mr. Frodo. You did lend it to me, and I'll need it, for I'll always be in the dark now. It's too good for me. And the lady gave it to you, but maybe she'd understand. Do you understand, Mr. Frodo? I've got to go on. But he could not go on. Not yet. He knelt and held Frodo's hand and could not release it. And time went by, and still he knelt, holding his master's hand, and his heart keeping a debate. Now he tried to find the strength to tear himself away and go on a lonely journey for vengeance. If once he could go, his anger would bear him down all roads of the world, pursuing until he had at last Gollum. then Gollum would die in a corner. But that was not what he had set out to do. It would not be worthwhile to leave his master for that, and would not bring him back. Oh, nothing would. They had better both be dead together. And that would be a lonely journey, and that too would be a lonely journey. Why is this so sad? I love Sam's realization here of revenge isn't going to get him very far, and it's not going to really bring back Frodo, and it's not going to do anything. Oh, gosh. Why is Tolkien this good? All right, let's keep reading. He looked on the bright point of the sword. He thought of the places behind where there was a black brink and an empty fall into nothingness. There was no escape that way. That was to do nothing. Not even to grieve. Whoa. That was not what he had set out to do. What am I to do then? He cried. And now he seemed plainly to know the hard answer. See it through. Another lonely journey and the worst. Is he suggesting what I think he's suggesting as this choice? He looked on the bright point of the sword. He thought of the places behind where there was a black brink and an empty fall into nothingness. Oh. That's so sad. What am I to do then? He cried. And now he seemed plainly to know the hard answer. See it through. Another lonely journey and the worst. What, me alone? Go to the crack of doom and all? He quailed still, but the resolve grew. What? Me take the ring from him? The council gave it to him. But the answer came at once. And the council gave him companions, so that the errand should not fail. And you are the last of the company. The errand must not fail. I wish I wasn't the last, he groaned. I wish old Gandalf was here, or somebody. Why am I left all alone to make my mind up? I'm sure to go wrong. And it's not for me to go talking, or it's not for me to go taking the ring, putting myself forward. But you haven't put yourself forward. You've been put forward. And as for not being the right and the proper person, why, Mr. Frodo wasn't, as you might say, nor Bilbo. They didn't choose themselves. Who's he having a conversation with here? I mean, himself, but like, is Galadriel in his mind right here? Ah, well, I must make up my own mind. I will make it up. But I'll be sure to go wrong. That'll be Sam Gamgee all over. Let me see now. If we're found here, or Mr. Frodo's found, and that thing's on him, well, the enemy will get it. And that's the end of us all. Of Lothlorien and Rivendell and the Shire and all. And there's no time to lose or it'll be the end anyway. The war's begun. And more than likely, things are all going the enemy's way already. No chance to go back with it and get advice or permission. No. It's sit here till they come and kill me over my master's body. And gets it. Or take it and go. He drew a deep breath. Then take it, it is. Gosh. I keep thinking like maybe I'll get a break from like the heavy stuff. This is brutal. This is like I don't encounter writers who that often write grief this well. They either overblow it and they are so dramatic with it that it's so unbelievable, or they're just not good at writing it. And this is the best, like, grief and mental struggle that I've seen a character have. It's so realistic. And it's so in line with Sam's character, too. You always saw Sam's conversation with himself as being the temptation of the ring, wrestling back and forth, like Gollum talking to himself, but Sam wins in the end. Interesting. I kind of love that. The wise often chose the wise to speak with themselves, so they are assured of the intelligent conversation. That'd be a great quote. The choices of Master Samwise, yeah. That's interesting that it's named that too. Because he has all these different paths laid out in front of him and he's taking the hardest one. Man. Yeah, sitting there trying to talk himself into leaving Frodo's body. Oh. This is awful. Still choose unreasonable hope over despair. I think that, that's like the clear message of Tolkien here, and I think that's what he knows through like his own life experience. In those moments, it's so difficult. Because I think all anybody wants to do is to give into the despair. But this story is a story of resistance. You resist it in like the grand scheme of things in all of Middle-earth. But first you have to master it and resist it in yourself. And like this one moment of Sam's battle with this proves that he's worthy of the ring. I was thinking this before when he was actually able to like make the file glow crazy. It's like he would be able to wield Thor's hammer. You know what I mean? In this moment, if all the Avengers were around and they were having that competition for who could lift Thor's hammer, Samwise would just step into the room and just pick it up like it was light as a feather because he's worthy of bearing the ring now. Because he's overcoming his own despair in this thing. Man. And he's putting all of this into like... It's like so potent, Tolkien in his writing. He's putting all of this into like such few words. His sentences have so much weight to them. It feels like every sentence is so purposeful and like there for like deep reasons. Welcome. Glad you made it. Yeah, nobody deserves to be attached to the ring for sure. Something feeling hopeless doesn't mean it's actually hopeless. As the very wise cannot see all ends. Ooh, that's great. I've never seen that meme, actually. I love that. It's great. I love that. You really could. He's great. Oh, we got so much left of this chapter. What else could happen in this chapter? Does Frodo get taken and he goes and defeats those things in that one little thing? I can't peek, sorry. I almost saw the last paragraph. All right. He stooped. Very gently he undid the clasp at the neck and slipped his hand inside Frodo's tunic. Then with his other hand, raising the head, he kissed the cold forehead and softly drew the chain over it. And then the head lay quietly back again in rest. No change came over the still face. And by that, more than by all other tokens, Sam was convinced at last that Frodo had died and laid aside the quest. "Goodbye, master, my dear master," he murmured. "Forgive your Sam." Oh, now he's dealing with survivor's guilt. He'll come back to this spot when he's done the job. Oh. If he manages it. And then he'll not leave you again. Oh. That is so sad. Oh. Come on. This is crushing. Rest you quiet till I come, and may no foul creature come anigh you. And if the lady could hear me and give me one wish, I would wish to come back and find you again. Goodbye. Come on. And then he bent his own neck and put the chain upon it. And at once his head was bowed to the ground with the weight of the ring, as if a great stone had been strung on him. But slowly, as if the weight became less, or the strength grew in him, he raised his head, and then with great effort got to his feet and found that he could walk and bear his burden. And for a moment he lifted up the phial and looked down at his master. And the light burned gently now with the soft radiance of the evening star in summer. And in that light, Frodo's face was fair of hue again, pale but beautiful with an elvish beauty, as of one who has long passed the shadows. And with the bitter comfort of that last sight, Sam turned and hid the light and stumbled on into the growing darkness. And he leaves? Huh? I have to keep reading. Oh my gosh. He had not far to go. The tunnel was some way behind, the cleft a couple 100 yards ahead or less. The path was visible in the dusk, a deep rut worn in ages of passage, running now gently up in a long trough, with cliffs on either side. The trough narrowed rapidly. Soon Sam came to a long flight of broad, shallowed steps. Now the Orc Tower was right above him, frowning black, and in it the red eye glowed. Now he was hidden in the dark shadow under it. He was coming to the top of the steps, and was in the cleft at last. "I've made up my mind," he kept saying to himself. But he had not, though he had done his best to think it out. What he was doing was altogether against the grain of his nature. Have I got it wrong? He muttered. What ought I to have done? Huh. That's an interesting sentence. What he was doing was against the grain of his nature. So is this like intuition is not, his intuition is wrong to some extent? Huh. This is bizarre. Yeah, something's deep right now, and it's like something's not right. Don't you leave him, Samwise Gamgee. As the sheer sides of the cleft closed about him, before he reached an actual summit, before he looked at last on the path descending into the nameless land, he turned. For a moment, motionless in the intolerable light, he looked back. He could still see. Like a small blot in the gathering gloom, the mouth of the tunnel. And he thought he could see or guess where Frodo lay. He fancied there was a glimmer on the ground down there. Or perhaps it was some trick of his tears. As he peered out at that high stony place where all his life had fallen in ruin. If only I could have my wish, my one wish, he sighed, to go back and find him. Then at last he turned to the road in front and took a few steps. The heaviest and the most reluctant he had ever taken. Huh. He's like, his intuition gonna tell him to go back? That would actually be crazy. This is getting wild, guys. Sam has to make a lot of choices in this chapter. I'd have decision exhaustion. Gosh. Yeah, I know. I gotta read and find out. Oh, this is crazy. I love that we have so much left in the chapter. Only a few steps. And now only a few more, and he would be going down and would never see that high place again. And then suddenly he heard cries and voices. He stood still as stone. Orc voices. They were behind him and before him. A noise of tramping feet and harsh sounds. Orcs were coming up to the cleft from the far side. From some entry to the tower, perhaps. Tramping feet and shouts behind. He wheeled around and saw small red lights, torches, winking away below there as they issued from the tunnel. At last, the hunt was up. The red eye of the tower had not been blind. He was caught. Tramping feet. Huh. Now the flicker of approaching torches and the clink of steel ahead was very near. In a minute they would reach the top and beyond him. He had taken too long in making up his mind, and now it was no good. How could he escape or save himself or save the ring? The ring. He was not aware of any thought or decision. He simply found himself drawing out the chain and taking the ring in his hand. The head of the orc company appeared in the cleft right before him. Then he put it on. Hold the phone. Excuse me? Am I reading something wrong? Sam puts the ring of power on his finger. What the heck? Are you kidding me? Where was this in the movie? I am blown away. Wow. That is legitimately insane. That is one of the most mind-blowing things that I've ever read in this book or discovered in this book. What the heck? Yeah, that's the thumbnail. It's going to be, he puts the ring on? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Wow. That's crazy. That is actually crazy. Is the ring commanding him to do this in any way? Doesn't seem like that. All right, let's read the next section. Gosh. That's crazy. That is legitimately crazy, guys. Wow. Ooh, also everyone liked the stream. 117 people here watching this. Are you guys crazy? This is nuts. Everyone liked the stream, so more Lord of the Rings Tolkien nerds can jump in and join. Wow, I cannot believe he put the ring on. The world changed, and a single moment of time was filled with an hour of thought. At once he was aware that hearing was sharpened, while sight was dimmed. But otherwise than in Shelob's lair. All things about him now were not dark, but vague. While he himself was there, in a gray, hazy world, alone, like a small black solid rock, and the ring, weighing down his left hand, was like an orb of hot gold. He did not feel invisible at all, but horribly and uniquely visible, and he knew that somewhere an eye was searching for him. Gosh, he heard the crack of stone and the murmur of water far off in the Morgul Vale. And down away under the rock, the bubbling misery of Shelob, groping, lost in some blind passage, and voices in the dungeons of towers, and the cries of the orcs as they came out of the tunnel, and deafening, roaring in his ears, the crash of the feet, and the rending clamor of the orcs before him. He shrank against the cliff, but they marched up like a phantom company. Gray distorted figures in a mist. Only dreams of fear with pale flames in their hands. And they passed him by. He cowered, trying to creep away into some cranny to hide. He listened. The orcs from the tunnel and the others marching down had sighed, or the orcs from the tunnel and the others marching down, he had sighted one another, or had sighted one another. And both parties were now hurrying and shouting. He heard them both clearly, and he understood what they said. Whoa! Perhaps the ring gave understanding of tongues, or simply understanding, especially of the servants of Sauron, its maker, so that if he gave heed, He understood and translated the thoughts to himself. Certainly the ring had grown greatly in power as it approached the place of its forging. But one thing it did not confer, and that was courage. At present, Sam was still thought only of hiding, of lying low till all was quiet again. And he listened anxiously. He could not tell how near the voices were. The words seemed almost in his ears. Hi, Wes. What's up, buddy? Are you jumping in for this story? Come here. You gonna say hi to everyone? Everyone, that was Wes's nose. This is nuts. Sauron's got 99 problems and Samwise makes it 100. The ring doesn't make you visible to Nazgul. It makes you invisible to them. Interesting. Wait, is there a Nazgul in this? So is there like ring theory for what the ring actually does? It suits the wearer? Huh. So is it just manipulating whoever it is to so that the ring can get back to Sauron? Whoa. Wait, the ring does not make you invisible to Nazgul. Yeah, that's what the movies have, right? Yeah, there's theory about everything in Tolkien. This is crazy, though. I cannot believe Sam actually put the ring on. And then we got like a perspective through him putting the ring on. The ring transports you to the spiritual world. Huh. Puts you into the spirit realm. That's what it definitely seems like. It's too mystic. It's too abstract down there for me. Gosh. Here we go. We're going to have some orc speech in a second. The ring does what you think it does and nothing more. So does the ring actually just conform its whatever it does to the wearer of the ring? Is it just manipulating whoever has the ring so that I can get back to Sauron? The ring forces its bearer into a spiritual plane, which makes him invisible to non-spiritual beings, but it's unnatural. Interesting. Yeah, we need a dissertation on that one. They is Nazgul. Okay. I know, RAFO. Okay. You as the reader, not the wearer. Okay. It still works, though. It still kind of works. Huh. Gonna look into some more ring theory here. All right, let's keep reading. We're gonna get some orc speech. It looks like. They're almost Spanish. Hola. Orcs speak Spanish. This is gonna be one of my videos. Hola, Gorbag. What are you doing up here? Had enough of war already? Or I should read the orcs in like joyful speech. Have you guys seen? There's a great video, orcs but they speak normally, or it's not like some video on normal orcs but they have normal voices. It's like one of my favorite videos on the internet when he goes, man flesh, and they just speak in the absolute most typical voices that you can imagine. It's so good. Yeah, you got to check it out. It's probably like a crazy viewed video on YouTube. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up. Let's see how many millions of views it has. Orcs with normal voices. Yeah, it's almost a million views. 4 years ago, or another one has 1.5 million views. This one has almost a million. Another one has 2.4 million. It's great. I don't think I can watch this right now because I'm gonna steal someone's content. They might flag this. But here, I'll show you what my screen actually is, though. These works with normal voices, extended editions. Ugluk talks smack with normal voices. The age of men is over. The time of the orcs has come. Imagine just saying that with a normal voice. All right, let's get back to some reading. Yeah, I've heard the Darth Vader lines. Those ones are pretty fantastic. Hola, Gorbag. What are you up to? What are you doing up here? Had enough of war already? Orders, you lubber. And what are you doing, Shagrat? Shagrat? What a name. Tired of lurking up there? Thinking of coming down to fight? Orders to you. I'm in command of this pass. So speak civil. What's your report? Nothing. Hi, yoy. A yell broke in the exchanges of the leaders. The orcs lower down had suddenly seen something. They began to run. So did the others. Hi, hola. There's something, or here's something, lying right in the road. A spy, I spy. There was a hoot of snarling horns and a babble of baying voices. Wow. Yeah, great names. Hola is with, I'm guessing hola is with a hard H. Not Ola. Hola, Gorbag. Hi. Hola. Here's something. Shagrat. I like to say Shagrat, but it's probably Shagrat. They're kind of funny. Yeah, they're kind of cute. Definitely Shagrat. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I can't read this, so I'm like doing the cult or doing the angry exclamations. I'm gonna make it sound like a cult. With a dreadful stroke, Sam was wakened from his cowering mood. They had seen his master. What would they do? He had heard tales of the orcs to make the blood run cold. It could not be borne. He sprang up. He flung the quest and all his decisions away, and fear and doubt with them. He knew now where his place was and had been. At his master's side. Though what he could do there was not clear. Back he ran down the steps, down the path towards Frodo. How many are there, he thought? 30 or 40 from the tower at least, and a lot more than that from down below. I guess, or a lot more from down below, I guess. How many can I kill before they get me? They'll see the flame of the sword as soon as I draw it, and they'll get me sooner or later. I wonder if any song will ever mention it. Sam sitting there going, I'm about to kill 30 of these guys, and I'm going to die. I wonder if they're going to write any songs about me. I love Sam. How Samwise fell in the high passes. Or how Samwise fell in the high pass and made a wall of bodies around his master. No song, of course not. For the ring will be found, and there will be no more songs. Ooh, that actually got depressing. I can't help it. My place is by Mr. Frodo. They must understand that. Elrond and the council, and the great lords and ladies with all their wisdom, their plans have gone wrong. I can't be their ring bearer. Not without Mr. Frodo. Aww. That's so beautiful. Yeah, it's like a nice little funny note after we just get the depressing note of Sam. Man, some heavy stuff. Ryan, his friends call him Shaggy. Is this the right choice? Yes, 100% this is the right choice. I think this is what fate is guiding him to do because fate knows that he's not dead. Like if Galadriel is sitting there looking in her mirror, she's like she's got little like binoculars looking through this mirror. And she's literally trying to poke and prod Sam to not leave Frodo's body. I feel like it has to be that way. It doesn't feel right the other way. Like even me as a reader, I mean, I know like the end of the story, but even me as a reader, when I'm reading through this and I'm going, Sam is leaving Frodo's body, it does not feel right. It feels like he shouldn't do that. It feels like he should not go into Mordor alone on his own without Frodo. Like even it, like as this is going to sound weird, as morose as this might sound, it would almost be more appropriate for him to carry Frodo's body all the way through Mordor, like Hodor does in Game of Thrones, than for him to leave Frodo's body. And not just for the desecration of Frodo's body, but because this is what Sam's job is. This is why he was brought on the mission. I think that feels like the right decision. Galadriel peering in with her binoculars. She's definitely in Lothlorien right now. I know. I think I know the end of the story. That's the thing. I always say that. I know the end of the story, but I don't. Maybe Sauron's going to get the ring and all things are going to be turned to crap. Elven binoculars. Yeah, sorry about that. Definitely elven binoculars. Huh. But the orcs were... Hold on, am I here? Is it the right spot? But the orcs were out of his dim sight now. He had had no time to consider himself. But now he realized that he was weary almost to exhaustion. His legs would not carry him as he wished. He was too slow. The path seemed miles long. Where had they all got to in this mist? The mist! This is where Mistborn comes from. There they were again. A good way ahead still. A cluster of figures around something lying on the ground. A few seemed to be darting this way and that. Bent like dogs on a trail. He tried to make a spurt. Come on, Sam, he said, or you'll be too late again. He loosened the sword from its sheath. In a minute, he would draw it. And then there was a wild clamor, hooting and laughing, as something was lifted from the ground. Yai hoy, yai hero hoy, up, up. Then a voice shouted, now off, the quick way, back to the Undergate. Shall not trouble us tonight by all the signs. The whole band of orc figures began to move. 4 in the middle were carrying a body high on their shoulders. Yahoy. They had taken Frodo's body. They were off. He could not catch them. He could not catch them up. Still, he labored on. The orcs reached the tunnel and were passing in. Those with the burden went first. And behind them there was a good deal of struggling and jostling. Sam came on. He drew the sword, a flicker of blue in his wavering hand, but they did not see it. Even as he came panting up, the last of them vanished into the black hole. For a moment he stood, gasping, clutching his breast. Then he drew his sleeve across his face, wiping away the grime and sweat and tears. Curse the filth, he said, and sprang after them into darkness. Huh. He was just leading me astray. Sauron's a Cyclops. Aragorn dies. Yeah, it definitely feels more like cult chanting than anything else to me. Sauron was just winking the whole time. It no longer seemed very dark to him in that tunnel. Rather, it was as if he stepped out of a thin mist into a heavier fog. This is, Mistborn right here. I'm going to see a mist wraith in a second. His weariness was growing, but his will hardened all the more. He thought he could see the light of torches a little way ahead. But try as he would, he could not catch them up. Orcs go fast in tunnels, and this tunnel they knew well. For in spite of Shelob, they were forced to use it as often as the swiftest way from the Dead City over the mountains. Oh, interesting. In what far-off time the main tunnel and the great round pit had been made, where Shelob had taken up her abode in ages past, they did not know. But many byways they had themselves delved about it on either side, so as to escape the lair in their goings to and fro on the business of their masters. Tonight they did not intend to go far down, but were hastening to find a side passage that led back to their watchtower on the cliff. Most of them were gleeful, delighted with what they had found and seen. And as they ran, they gabbled and yammered after the fashion of their kind. Sam heard the noise of their harsh voices, flat and hard in the dead air, and he could distinguish two voices from among all the rest. They were louder and nearer to him. The captains of the two parties seemed to be bringing up the rear, debating as they went. "Can't you stop your rabble from making such a racket, Shagrat?" grunted the one. "We don't want Shelob on us. Go on, Gorbag. Yours are making more than half the noise," said the other. But let the lads play. No need to worry about Shelob for a bit, I reckon. She sat on a nail, it seems. And we shan't cry about that, don't you see? A nasty mess all the way back to that cursed crack of hers. If we've stopped it once, we've stopped it 100 times. So let him laugh. And we've struck a bit of luck at last. Got something that Lugburs wants. Where have I heard Lugburs before? Lugburs was what the orcs in the beginning of this book said. Lugburs is the Great Eye? Is that the orc name for the Great Eye? Is Lugburs the name for the Great Eye? Lugburs is Barad-dûr, okay. Interesting. We heard that before when they were talking about the Dark Tower when the three groups of orcs were meeting with Merry and Pippin. That's like a cool little not callback, but like bookend. So it's not the eye, but it's the tower. Okay. The Dark Tower of Barad-dûr. Interesting. Okay. Lugburs wants it, eh? What is it, do you think? Elvish to look to me, but undersized. What's the danger in a thing like that? Don't know till we've had a look. Oh. So they haven't told you what to expect. They don't tell us all they know, do they? Not by half. But they can make mistakes, even the top ones can. Shh, Gorbag. Shagrat's voice was lowered, so that even with his strangely sharpening hearing, Sam could only just catch what was said. They may, but they've got eyes and ears everywhere. Some amongst my lot. As like as not. But there's no doubt about it, they're troubled about something. The Nazgul down below are, by your account. And Lugbor's is too. Something nearly slipped. This is interesting. We got a little orc gossip going on right now. A little bit of details of what's happening in Mordor. I love this. Nearly, you say, said Gorbag. All right, said Shagrat, but we'll talk of that later. Wait till we get to the underway. There's a place where we can talk for a bit while the lads go on. Interesting. Soldier gossip of modern times. I like this. I like a little bit of soldier gossip. Give me some of that. Yeah, orcs. I think someone said before in a comment on one of the videos that orcs are just like high level bureaucrats that just like are gossiping around the water cooler. It's a great description. Yeah, the politics of a corrupt regime. It's actually really interesting. Like, I want to know what they're afraid of. I want to know what they're fearing. I want to know what's going on with them. Shortly afterwards, Sam saw the torches disappear. Then there was a rumbling noise. And just as he hurried up, a bump. As far as he could guess, the orcs had turned and gone into the very opening which Frodo and he had tried and found blocked. It was still blocked. There seemed to be a great stone in the way. But the orcs had got through somehow, for he could hear their voices on the other side. They were still running along, deeper and deeper into the mountain, back toward the tower. Sam felt desperate. They were carrying off his master's body for some foul purpose, and he could not follow. He thrust and pushed at the block, then threw himself against it, but it did not yield. Then, not far inside, or so he thought, he heard the two captains' voices talking again. He stood listening for a little, hoping perhaps to learn something useful. Perhaps Gorbag, who seemed to belong to Minas Morgul, would come out, and he could then slip in. Interesting. No, I don't know, said Gorbag's voice. The messages go through quicker than any could fly as a rule. But I don't inquire how it's done. Safest not to go. Urgh. Those Nazgul give me the creeps. And they skin the body off you as soon as look at you, and leave you all cold in the dark on the other side. But he likes them. There's favorites nowadays, so it's no use grumbling. I'll tell you, it's no game serving down in the city. Gosh, this is great. They hate their jobs. Wow, orcs are just like us. They don't like their boss. This is such a fascinating conversation. The seminar scheduled on who moved my maggoty bread. That's great. Orconomics? That sounds like a phenomenal book. Yeah, orcs are who we are, hobbits are who we want to be. Do they call orc politics democracy? Ooh. Orcs are us. Their bosses are particularly awful. But this is actually so funny. I love this little like tidbit into their life too. Not that it's like humanizing the orcs, but it kind of is. Oh, democracy. Democracy. I missed that on my first read. Ryan, the pun master. Also, everyone, Ryan is the guy who made the music for the podcast and the intro to the stream. Go check his stuff out. It's pretty phenomenal. And if you need some music for anything that you're doing, he could probably make it. I just kind of threw him out there. I don't know if he's doing work, but he makes some incredible stuff. He's a great musician. All right, let's keep reading. You should try being up here with Shelob for company, said Shagrat. Shagrat is the coolest name. I'd like to try somewhere where there's none of them, but the war's going on now. And when that's over, things may be easier. It's going well, they say. They would, grunted Gorbag. We'll see. But anyway, if days go well, there should be a lot more room. What do you say? If we get a chance, you and me'll slip off and set up somewhere on our own with a few trusty lads. Somewhere where there's good loot, nice and handy, and no big bosses. No way! This is hilarious! This is so good! There's a mutiny on hands. This is wild. That's actually so funny. We really are all orcs. Orcs hate their bosses. Orcs are kind of my favorite now. Orcs are racing in the ranks a little bit. This is actually so cool. There's actually a poem foretelling the American Revolution calling us orcs. Yeah. Little anarchists, little libertarians, little Ron Burgundies running around. No laws, small government, no bosses. This is great. The possibility of orc redemption. Yeah, they're still evil. They're still terrible. Don't worry. Orc, pirate, sabotage. You guys are pretty clever with some puns. This is a funny end to this book. I'm so curious how it's gonna. What do we have? 3 pages left. I am so curious if we're gonna know that Frodo's alive or dead. I'm more thinking that we're gonna think that he's dead by the end of this. That we're not gonna know that he's alive yet. Maybe the whole entire movie is a lie, and maybe Frodo's dead completely, and then he's never gonna come back in the story again. I don't know. Said Shagrat, like old times. Yes, said Gorbag, but don't count on it. I'm not easy in my mind, as I said. The big bosses, eh? His voice sank almost to a whisper. Aye, even the biggest can make mistakes. Something's nearly slipped, you say. I say something has slipped, and we've got to look out. Always the poor Uruks to put slips right. And small thanks. But don't forget, the enemies don't love us any more than they love him. And if they get topside on him, we're done too. But see here, when were you ordered out? About an hour ago, just before you saw us. A message came. Nazgul uneasy. Spies feared on stairs. Double vigilance. Patrol to head of stairs. I came at once. Bad business, said Gorbag. See here? Our silent watchers were uneasy more than 2 days ago. That I know. But my patrol wasn't ordered out for another day, nor any message sent to Lugburs either, owing to the great signal going up, and the High Nazgul going off to war. Oh, they call him the High Nazgul. Interesting. Is Nazgul the plural of Nazgul? Meritocracy. I love that. So when he's saying Nas guy, what's this like moose is the plural of meese. It's Nazgul and Nas guy. So when he's saying the high Nazgul, is he talking about the Witch King there? He has to be talking about the Witch King there, right? I don't know what else it would be. Yeah, it makes sense. All right, commence puns. They sound like Walmart employees. It has actually hilarious, like them sounding like this. This is kind of wild. They just want to go off and live their own lives. They just want to go enjoy life. The eye was busy elsewhere, I suppose, said Shagrat. Big things going on away west, they say. I dare say, growled Gorbag. But in the meantime, enemies have got up the stairs. And what were you up to? You're supposed to keep watch, aren't you? Special orders or no? What are you for? That's enough. Don't try and teach me my job. We were awake, all right? We knew there were funny things going on. Very funny. Yes, funny. Yes, very funny. Lights and shouting and all. But Shelob was on the go. My lad saw her end her sneak. Her sneak? Are they talking about Gollum? Her sneak? What's that? There you go. You must have seen him. Little thin black fellow. Like a spider himself. Or perhaps more like a starved frog. That's actually a great description. He's like a starved frog. That's crazy that they actually... Gollum is like renowned within orc culture too. What if Gorbag gets the ring? That's actually crazy. Yeah, and he calls him Sneak. So Sam is an orc. Sam, as soon as he hears this, he's like overhearing this. He's going to take off the ring and just go, I told you he was a sneak the whole time. That's how he's going to blow his cover. Because he's going to be like, they call him Sneak, and then he's going to, you know, he's going to have camaraderie with them. Nemo's a starved frog currently. Wow, this is actually wild. He's been here before. Came out of Lugbur's for the first time. Years ago. And we had word from high up to let him pass. Oh, interesting. He's been up the stairs once or twice since then, but we've left him alone. Seems to have some understanding with her ladyship. Her ladyship being Shelob. I suppose he's no good to eat. She wouldn't worry about words from high up. But a fine guard you keep in the valley. He was up here a day before all this racket. Early last night we saw him. Anyway, my lads reported that her ladyship was having some fun. And that seemed good enough for me. Until the message came. I thought her sneak had brought her a toy. Or that you perhaps sent her a present. A prisoner of war or something. I don't interfere when she's playing. Nothing gets by Shelob when she's on the hunt. Nothing, say you. Didn't you use your eyes back there? I tell you, I'm not easy in my mind. Whatever came up the stairs did get by. It cut her web and got clean out of the hole. That's something to think about. Ah, well, but she's got him in the end, didn't she? Got him? Got who? This little fellow. But if he was the only one, then she'd have him off to her larder long before. And there he'd be now. And if Lugbors wanted him, you'd have to go and get him. Nice for you, but there was more than one. At this point, Sam began to listen more attentively and press his ear against the stone. Who cut the cords she'd put around him? Shagrat? Same one as cut the web. Don't you see that? And who stuck a pin into her ladyship? I like that they call her ladyship. This is kind of wild. It's a weird little name that they have for her. Same one, I reckon. And where is he? Where is he, Shagrat? Shagrat made no reply. You may well put your thinking cap on if you've got one. It's no laughing matter. No one has ever stuck a pin in Sheila before. As you should know well enough. There's no grief in that, but think. There's someone loose hereabouts, as is more dangerous than any other damned rebel that has ever walked since the bad old times, since the great siege. Something has slipped. They're legitimately terrified of Sam. I love this. Terrified orcs of Sam. That's so funny. Yeah, they're right to be. Sam will come for them. I think Sam could probably kill every last one of them in this. Man. That is actually so funny. You may well put your thinking cap on if you've got one. It's no laughing matter. No one has ever stuck a pin in Sheila before, as you should well know. As you should know well enough. There's no grief in that. But think, there's someone loose hereabouts, as is more dangerous than any other damned rebel that has ever walked since the bad old times. Since the great siege. Something has slipped. And what is it then, growled Shagrat. By all the signs, Captain Shagrat, I'd say there's a large warrior loose. Elf, most likely. With an elf sword, anyway. And an axe as well, maybe. And he's loose in your bounds, too. And you've never spotted him. Very funny indeed. Gorbak spat. Sam smiled grimly at this description of himself. Ah, well. You always did take a gloomy view, said Shagrat. You can read the signs how you'd like, but there may be other ways to explain them. Anyhow, I've got watchers at every point. And I'm going to deal with one thing at a time. When I've had a look at the fellow we have caught, then I'll begin to worry about something else. It's my guess you won't find much in that little fellow, said Gorbag. He may have nothing to do with the real mischief. The big fellow with the sharp sword doesn't seem to have thought him worth much anyhow. Just left him lying. Regular elvish trick. Well, we'll see. Come on now. We've talked enough. Let's go and have a look at the prisoner. What are you going to do with him? Don't forget I spotted him first. If there's any game, me and my lads must be in it. Now, growled Shagrat. I have my orders. And it's more than my belly's worth, or yours, to break 'em. Any trespasser found by the guard is to be held at the tower. Prisoner is to be stripped. Full description of every article, garment, weapon, letter, ring, or trinket is to be sent to Lugburs at once, and to Lugburs only. And the prisoner is to be kept safe and intact, under pain of death for every member of the guard, until he sends or comes himself. That's plain enough. And that's what I'm going to do. Stripped, eh? Said Gorbag. What? Teeth, nails, hair, and all? No, none of that. He's for Lugburs, I tell you. He's wanted, safe and whole. You'll find that difficult, laughed Gorbag. He's nothing but carry on now. What Lugbors will do with such stuff, I can't guess. He might as well go in the pot. You fool, snarled Shagrat. You've been talking very clever, but there's a lot you don't know, though most other folk do. You'll be for the pot or for Shelob, if you don't take care. Carrion is all that you know of her ladyship. When she binds with cords, she's after meat. She doesn't eat dead meat, nor suck cold blood. This fellow isn't dead. Oh, this is great. Wow. That's crazy. I have to say, One thing I prefer in the movies is when he says, "This fella ain't dead." I don't know why, but that just feels more like orc-like. When he goes, "This fella ain't dead." They cast these guys well in the movies. I feel like Shagrat and Gorbag were kind of perfect fits. Now Sam knows. I'm so curious what he's going to do. It just finished on this page, so I have the next page. This fella ain't dead. This fella isn't dead. Tell that to all the Cockney speakers. Yeah, that's true. This sounds more proper to me. This fella isn't dead. This fella ain't dead. Man, this is actually so good. We have a page left. Oh, if I could play an orc in a film, that would be peak. Please, if anybody knows any casting people, and they're making anything for Lord of the Rings, are they doing the Hunt for Gollum anymore? Vigo's son played an orc. I know they got a lot of like. I know the person who played Lurtz was like very kind and hospitable. He was apparently like a great dude, like just I forgot who he was, like a big Maori or something like that. Yeah, I like that it's being translated in Sam's mind too, so it's like helpful for us to understand this because we're still in Sam's perspective here. Yeah, it actually is a great transition. In the beginning of this chapter, you're on the verge of tears, and here you're kind of cackling. He does a really great job with that, of shifting the moods so well. That's actually a great point. I know Lurtz isn't real. I know. But in the movies, he was. Man, this is great. All right, let's finish this up. Let's finish her up. We got a page left. Or 2 pages, really. Sam reeled, clutching at the stone. He felt as if the whole dark world was turning upside down. So great was the shock that he almost swooned. But even as he fought to keep a hold on his senses, deep inside him he was aware of the comment. You fool. He isn't dead. And your heart knew it. Don't trust your head, Samwise. It is not the best part of you. Aww. The trouble with you is that you never really had any hope. Now what is to be done? For the moment, nothing. But to prop himself against an unmoving stone and listen. Listen to the vile orc voices. Garn, said Shagrat. She's got more than one prisoner, or she's got more than one poison. When she's hunting, she just gives them a dab in the neck, and they go limp as a boned fish. And then she has her way with them. Do you remember old Uthak? We lost him for days. Then we found him in a corner, hanging up he was. But he was wide awake and glaring. How we laughed. She'd forgotten him, maybe. But we didn't touch him. No good interfering with her. Nar, this little filth, he'll wake up in a few hours, and beyond feeling a bit sick for a bit, he'll be all right. Or would be, if Lugbors would let him alone. And of course, beyond wondering where he is and what's happened to him. Poor Uthak. So this is the name that you guys are all saying? That's kind of sad. Yeah, guys, just wait for another 5 minutes till we finish. Come on. You can wait for bedtime for another 5 minutes. Man, crazy. Okay, let's finish her up. And what's going to happen to him, laughed Gorbag. We can tell him a few stories at any rate, if we can't do anything else. I don't suppose he's ever been in lovely Lugbors, so he may like to know what to expect. This is going to be more funny than I thought. Let's go. There's going to be no fun, I tell you, said Shagrat. And he's got to be kept safe, or we're all as good as dead. All right, but if I were you, I'd catch the big one that's loose before you send in any report to Lugbors. It won't sound too pretty to say you've caught the kitten and let the cat escape. The voices began to move away. Sam heard the sound of feet receding. He was recovering from his shock, and now a wild fury was on him. I got it all wrong, he cried. I knew I would. Now they've got him, the devils, the filth. Never leave your master, never, never. That was my right rule, and I knew it in my heart. May I be forgiven. Now I've got to get back to him. Somehow. He drew his sword again and beat on the stone with the hilt, but it only gave a dull sound. The sword, however, blazed so brightly now that he could see dimly in its light. To his surprise, he noticed that the great block was shaped like a heavy door and was less than twice his own height. Above it was a dark space between the top and the low arch of the opening. It was probably only meant to be a stop against the intrusion of Shelob, fastened on the inside with some latch or bolt beyond the reach of her cunning. With his remaining strength, Sam leaped and caught the top, scrambled up and dropped. And then he ran madly, sword blazing his hand, round a bend and up a winding tunnel. The news that his master was still alive roused him to a last effort beyond thought of weariness. He could not see anything ahead, for this new passage twisted and turned constantly, but he thought he was catching the two orcs up. Their voices were growing nearer again. Now they seemed quite close. That's what I'm going to do, said Shagrat in angry tones. Put him right up in the top chamber. What for? Growled Gorbag. Haven't you any lockups down below? He's going out of harm's way, I tell you, answered Shagrat. See, he's precious. I don't trust all my lads, and none of yours, nor you either. When you're mad for fun. He's going where I want him, and where you won't come, if you don't keep civil. Hold on. Real quick. Sorry. I know we're close to the end. When they're talking about having fun, are they talking about prison fun? Or are they talking about like they're gonna like the Boltons kind of fun? Like Boltons from like the Boltons from Game of Thrones. Are they gonna like flay him and torture him? That's the fun that they're thinking, right? Okay, good. I mean, not good, but I was wondering if this was some kind of other, okay. Bolton's fun is not really that fun, to be honest. But I was like, Shawshank Redemption fun or Bolton's fun? That's the question. They mentioned his hair and his teeth. That's straight. That's pretty dark. I'm sorry that you asked for a notification hours ago and still nothing came your way. That really sucks. Sorry you weren't able to make it. Also, if you just join the Discord, hold on, let me real quick before I end this chapter. If you join the Discord, you can kind of get a notification on there. Maybe right before I do the live stream, I'll share it when I like set it, and then I'll make sure that I share it maybe like 15 minutes before I actually go live. So let me copy this real quick. I actually can't send it because Discord is I'm live right now on Discord. Won't let me save it. Nemo, can you do that real quick for me? Or who else is on our Discord here? Can you just send the Discord link in? so people can know. I'll try to be better at alerting people in Discord too. All right, let me finish this. We're pretty much done. Wow, that's crazy. I can't believe it's ending on this note. If you don't keep Civil up to the top, I say, he'll be safe there. Will he, said Sam. You're forgetting the great big elvish warrior that's loose. And with that, he raced round the last corner, only to find that by some trick of the tunnel or of the hearing which the ring gave him, he had misjudged the distance. The two orc figures were still some way ahead. He could see them now, black and squat against the red glare. The passage ran straight at last, up an incline. At the end, wide open, were great double doors, leading probably to a deep chamber far below the high horn tower. Already the orcs with their burdens had passed inside. Gorbag and Shagrat were drawing near the gate. Sam heard a burst of hoarse singing, blaring of horns and banging of gongs, a hideous clamor. Gorbag and Shagrat were already on the threshold, and Sam yelled and brandished Sting, but his little voice was drowned in the tumult. No one heeded him. The great door is slammed too. Boom. The bars of iron fell into place inside, clang. The gate was shut. Sam hurled himself against the bolted brazen plates and fell senseless to the ground. He was out in the darkness. Frodo was alive, but taken to the enemy. Dude, are you kidding me? I thought this was going to end when Sam gets in a fight with them and in 2 paragraphs kills all of them. How good of an ending would this have been for movie 2? Why did they not do that? Oh! Or at the very least, you guys know when you had the DVDs of The Lord of the Rings, at least on the end of DVD 1, you have Sam charging through this tunnel and then the gate is shut. Oh my gosh, that was a crazy ending. How do you have this ending and then change it? Frodo was alive, but taken by the enemy. Oh, Michael, thanks for the $1.99. I appreciate that. What a good ending to the story. That's such a great quote. Frodo was alive, but taken by the enemy. Oh my gosh, that is chilling. Legitimately terrifying. Oh my goodness. That is mind-blowing. I mean, I love the movies too, but this would have been so good. Wow. That's crazy. Book 3 is even better. Guys, I can't wait till we get to book 3. Honestly, I'm kind of happy because then I get to retire this book, which is falling decrepit by the wayside. It is falling apart, but it's a book well loved. Wow. Bright Rider, or Right Rider. Ooh, I like the name. Right Rider. Thank you for the $1.99. I appreciate it. I'm glad that book 3 is even better. I'm pumped to get the book 3. Wow, this is gonna be a trip. This is gonna be a trip, guys. Wow. Man, hold on. The fake out death being unnecessary in the book. Oh no, in the second movie, yeah. Yeah, right before he dies, right before the battle. I think it does add like a little bit of extra drama, but the war fight isn't in there. Yeah, in the second one. I guess it does add a little bit of drama on their way, although there is tons of drama in in the second book when they're on their way even to because it just doesn't end. Honestly I don't know. Maybe they should have just cut this and had the proper ending to this book, to the Two Towers. Wow. Tune in next time as we return to the fortunes and the battle in the West. I'm so curious how the next book is going to start. And one thing I don't no one give me any spoilers, please, is if the book is going to be split again in between like Aragorn's tale and then Sam's tale. So am I going to have to wait? Am I going to have to wait half a book before I figure out what happened with Frodo and Sam here? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's freaking crazy. Oh, guys, it's right there. It's right there. Come on. Anybody want to just start reading? Holy smokes. Oh my gosh. That was such a phenomenal chapter to end on. You had the drama of the death of Frodo and Sam mourning, and it's some of the best writing he's ever done. And then you have the brilliance of like the humor in this chapter, and then this terrifying ending. Oh my gosh, that's crazy, guys. This is so nuts. My mind is blown by this. My mind is absolutely blown. That was such a good chapter. Someone told me once that this chapter is like slow. And excuse them, that was not a slow chapter at all. That chapter did not drag one bit. That was one of the best chapters that I've read. Wow. Read the book, then listen to the book, then watch the movie. Man. Yeah, first time was not slow. That man, how is the next book gonna start? I'm so curious about this. And I can't read it. I gotta finish all these essays. And the really sucky thing is I can't read it because I have to finish these essays. And this is why we're doing this live stream like so quick. Is that I'm gonna be gone next week, so I'm not gonna tempt myself and bring the Lord of the Rings because I know I'll probably finish it on vacation. So I have to wait even longer. So the next live read isn't gonna be for another like week and a half, 2 weeks actually. That's sad. That's gonna be a real big bummer. That's gonna be a real big bummer. Man. That was such a good cliffhanger ending to that chapter. Oh, so good. Man. That's blowing my mind. Why would Aragorn need pants? Count the number of poems in the first book. Yeah, this book, almost in the entire half of this, second half of this, there were no poems. It just kept, in the first book, you couldn't get a chapter without 3 poems. And now there's nothing. No one wants to sing or recite poetry. Sam does it. Actually, Sam did it. He did it the Oliphant's poem. That's the last one that I think we know. Yeah, the Oliphant. He did it with his hands behind his back because he believed it should be respected. I love Sam. There are 2 poems in book 4. Wait, let's see if I can remember them. The Oliphant's poem. The Oliphant's poem. And it has to be something the Men of Gondor do. I was going to say something about like the pool, but no. Is it about the moon? No, that's not a poem. The Oliphants. I don't know. What is the other poem in book 4? Boromir's. No, that's not. That's in book 3. Gollum singing his fish song. It's literally about. That's right, the sushi song. That's great. A little poem about sushi. He's a sushi lover. On Gollum's dating profile, it's talking about his love of sushi. That's crazy. The Lego Lord of the Rings. I've heard that's actually kind of good. I came across a cute Lego Lord of the Rings image that I was going to use. I think I use it for a video real quick. With him and Frodo in Shelob's cave. The worst song is in book 5. I mean, I still think the worst poem is the Oliphant one, but I think it's the best at the same time. Also, I'm not gonna. Maybe I'll do it some. Actually, I don't think I'll have time. But I want to stream some like Lord of the Rings online and just like chill, and like play and just chill and talk about Lord of the Rings with you guys. But maybe I'll do that after I finish all of them, so we can talk spoiler free about Lord of the Rings at least. Don't let the Oliphant hear that. I know it's not. It's still a really lovely, endearing poem. Yeah, Pippin's bath poem is one of my favorites. And that's still just one of my favorite chapters, too. I love that chapter so much. Gollum sings at the marshes as well. And I know Faramir sings, but it's not like in poetic form. Because he sings like, oh... What does he say? Oh, Boromir, why didst thou... something. Gray as a mouse, big as a house. Yeah, he was very proper when he was singing that poem, or when he was reciting that poem. Almost all the sets in the original run. That's pretty sweet. Man, that excuse me, that chapter was mind blowing. I think I wrote 7 essay ideas down. I don't know if I'm gonna get to all of them. I'll probably combine some because a lot of them at the beginning are just Sam's emotions. Maybe I'll just make some shorter ones too. Man. Yeah, I know. Maybe we'll keep it spoiler free and just talk talk other stuff. I can't believe that book ends that way. Like and it's crazy how how Tolkien leads you astray. Where you think that Sam's going to round this corner and he has all the confidence in the world and he's going to be able to defeat all these orcs and take Frodo back in that moment. That's what I was expecting. Even though I knew it was like 2 more paragraphs. I was like, this is going to be a quick 2 paragraphs because it's going to say Sam slew these orcs and they died by the wayside to get back to his master. And when he reunited, he put the ring back around his neck and all things were good again. But it's crazy. He runs. It's like one of those, like the doors shut right on him and he goes and bangs on this and he puts the ring on. That's crazy. He actually put the ring on. Man, Slam the Slayer would have been epic. I would have loved that. We kind of got that in the movies to some extent. I'm curious if that's what it's going to be like in the movie. We'll see. Man, I'm so curious how the next book is going to be formatted and functioned. Man. I was like, I don't think it can altogether be just Frodo's tale. I think this is, to me, my guess would be this is the only book that's split apart into the way that it is. I think this is going to be chapter breaks. I think it's going to mesh the story back together. That's what I guess. You don't have to be evil to work here, but it helps. It's crazy, too, that the orcs were just, like, trashing their overlord. That was actually kind of hilarious. That was really funny. All right, guys. Well, man. You can forgive Jackson for many things, but can't forgive him for leaving out the steward and the king chapter in the last movie. Huh. All right. Is that the meeting of Aragorn and Denethor, I'm guessing? It sounds like a great chapter. I'm pumped for the next book. All right, tell me all real quick before I leave. What is your guys' favorite chapter in the next book? Excuse me. What is your guys' favorite chapter in the last book? Chapter 6? The king indeed returns. Okay. Ryan, you should reach out to Tolkien's publishers and say, I have a great name for the third book. We should rename it The King Indeed Returns. The appendices. I'm so excited for the appendices. The Siege of Gondor, the Tower of Cirith Ungol, the Steward and the King, the Ride of the Rohirrim is up there. I've heard the Pelennor Fields battle is really good too. The Pyre of Denethor, interesting. Makes you physically ill. Okay, nervous for that then. The third to last chapter is the best. Oh, okay. Minas Tirith. These are the descriptions of the city. I can't wait to see the city in real life. I'm pumped. Very pumped. The Fields of Cormallin. I've heard that's great. I've heard that's another section that Tolkien cried out. I think he has 2. And Wes is ready for a quick walk. Come here. You gotta say hi to everyone. Come here. Come here. Don't lay down. All right, fine. Wow. Wow, someone hates the Scouring of the Shire. Sounds like another video. Man, my throat is not being clear right now. I'm going to end the stream so I can do a gross throat clear. Sorry, no one needed to know that. But that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to go take my dog for a walk and process through this chapter as I go take my dog for a walk. Mind-blowing chapter. I have so much to think about, so much to talk about. Man. Yeah, so here's the schedule for the next few weeks. This is the next like 2 weeks. I am just coming out with tons of videos that I'm going to schedule for the rest of this week. I've already scheduled the rest of this week, but I'm going to schedule them for next week. And I go on vacation. I'll be back next weekend. But while I'm on vacation, I'm going to read some of the Hero of Ages. And I'm probably going to bring a mic and maybe a shoddy camera or something like that. And do a quick setup and maybe just do some Sanderson videos that I've been doing and like kind of in the background with some of the other stuff that I've been doing. So I'm planning to do that, maybe get through that book. And then when I get back, well, tomorrow we have the Fellowship of the First Time Readers. My friends are coming over and we're going to discuss this. So if you want to just join in for that, we're going to also do that. And then when I get back, I'll wait a day or two and then I'll probably... Actually, when I get back, I don't know if I'm going to have all the essays finished. I'll have them all written maybe, but maybe not all of them edited and recorded or recorded and edited. So when I get back, we'll probably do the first live read within like a few days of when I get back. Not this week, but the following week, the last week of August. So that's the plan. that is the plan. I'm very excited to read the next book. I think it'll probably carry us through the rest of the year. I'm so excited to read the next book. But thanks for joining, everyone. Thanks for the donations and the gifts. You guys are blowing my mind with all that kind of stuff. Thanks for the new memberships, or the gifted membership. To Revenant, thank you for that gifted membership, and congrats on the membership. Thanks for watching the stream, guys. This is really fun. Love doing this. This is so much fun. And yeah, dude, it's been such a joy for me too. It's been so fun. I love this stuff so much. I know I'm gonna miss the live streams too, because they're like literally the highlights. I love them so much. They're so fun. But I will see you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Everyone, wave goodbye to Galadriel as she's waving to you. Everyone say bye, Galadriel. Have a great week, guys. All right, I'm just going to pause it on Galadriel for a quick second. Hold on. I'm just going to pause it. Wait, where'd she go? Why isn't this coming up? Here's a welcome. OBS is just froze on me. Gosh. Well, there goes that plan. All right, guys. See you in the next one.